Brad.
Hi, Sal.
We were talking on our 50th episode.
That's right.
Which we just recorded about Plitvice Lakes National Park and Croatia.
Yeah. We should clarify that, our 50th podcast.
Right.
This is only our third video.
Right.
So we started videoing after a little bit to add to our repertoire.
47 podcasts later.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We're doing well. Okay, back to the subject of Croatia. We went to Split, Croatia.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Split.
a coastal town.
I think it's their capital, too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or maybe Zagreb is.
I think Zagreb is.
Okay. Anyway, yes, it's a coastal town. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
The walled city, or the palace, I think it's a palace.
Diocletian's Palace.
Yes, so that was really cool.
That was built by Romans in the 4th century.
Anytime you can get into these cities within the walls, it's always really nice. They'll have, obviously in the 4th century, it's, hundreds of years old. You'll find these alleyways and covered in ivy, and people still live there.
Yeah.
They still live within the walls. And we tried to find a sushi restaurant because, hey, let's try sushi on the other side of the planet. And so we walk in, and it's the first thing, wow, it's really dusty. And they were still building it. So a construction worker comes out, he's got a saw in his hand, so it's like, okay, they weren't ready for business yet.
We did find a Mexican food restaurant there.
Yeah, we did.
We'd been traveling for a long time, and it was so exciting coming from the West Coast and being able to find Mexican food, even though it wasn't that great. It was okay. It still
corn chips, though. The corn chips.
The tortilla chips, yeah.
So, yeah, they were
because you
really
miss
good.
stuff.
Yeah, you do.
when you're done. That was exciting.
Yeah. They had really good food down on the boardwalk. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But it was expensive. I mean, we're, $50 dinner.
Which seems like not so much if you're from, the United States. You're like, oh, 2 people go out to dinner, $50.
Right.
But for Europe and a lot of places in Europe, that seems like Central or Eastern Europe, it's very expensive.
Yeah, we normally are eating for, 10, 15 at the most. I mean, so yeah, it was quite expensive, but it was really good food, and we had a bottle of wine too, I'm sure, with it. So
I'm sure we had a bottle of wine with it, and I think we ended up splitting. It was like a surf and turf, I think.
Yeah. So,
they have a lot of restaurants that are right there. There's a sort of promenade in Split, and you can sit on some couches and enjoy a nice meal and watch people or watch the boats. I don't think there's a beach there that I saw.
No, that promenade was right up in cement wall, and you look down into the rocks at the harbor. So they had a beach, but it wasn't right there.
No, we arrived by bus, and we stayed, of course, in an Airbnb, and we prepared a lot of our own food. They had a really great outdoor market. We bought a lot of delicious food there. Dried figs, and fresh fruit, and cheese, and they had just done everything.
They had that bell tower we climbed.
We climbed a bell tower.
Yeah.
Because whenever there's a tower, we climb it.
Right, yeah, so that was really good. Did it start going off while we were on that? Was that the one?
Well, it was going to, and we were like, oh, let's get out of here before it starts to dawn. And I think we just got out of there.
Right. So,
before
you're climbing up, and you go by where the bells are, and up to... Because a lot of them are, although these were real bells, you don't have someone pulling it,
They're
anymore.
automated.
They're automated, yeah. So,
well, we took the bus there, and then we arrived by bus out of Plitvice Lakes National Park. But we spent a couple days wandering around the island. There's a maritime museum there that we enjoyed. We took a ferry over to the island of Brach, which is their sort of best beach.
Apparently. Yeah, it was at Bol. Yeah, BOL was their world famous beach that you've probably heard about if you know about Croatia. So we were there virtually alone. There was, I think, 3 other guys walked it for 10 minutes, and then they left because there's not much to see.
Yeah.
And beach
in the off season.
Yeah, in the off season, right? So, and yeah, I mean the water's cold, and beach is different all over the world. That's another thing you need to learn. This was a rocky, I mean, from full-on large gravel to small stones beach. There was no sand here.
It wasn't sandy.
Yeah. So, and the smaller stones were okay. You're walking in your bare feet, and that was fine. But you step in that, and you kind of sink. So it it was still nice, but the bathrooms were all closed. I think we were able to find a place to get a beer.
Yeah, we got like a $4 beer. That's
Right.
outrageous
Right.
compared to the $1 we'd been paying everywhere else.
Yeah,
So they
so-
gave us a tourist price on that.
Yeah.
It was still a beautiful bus ride and a fun ferry ride. I think the whole journey across from Split to Bratch and then to the beach took, an hour and a half maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Each
Because
way?
the bus ride coming across. Yeah, that is, it's nice to see the island, and it comes out. It's an interesting point how it comes out.
And again, we were there in the off season.
Right. Yeah, it's March, so.
And we ran into some difficulty. Our intent was to take the ferry out of Split to another island called Korčula.
Right.
However, the ferries that day that we wanted to leave it was raining and the seas were high and rough.
High winds. They canceled the 10 a.m. ferry, and so we asked them about the 3 p.m. ferry, and they're like, "Don't know," but unlikely. So
we worked it out.
We worked it out. It was an amazing trip. First of all, let's talk about the peacocks, and then I'm going to tell them about the trip we took.
There's peacocks.
Peacocks, right? We're in the, you hear them, and you're thinking, where are these things? Because and we walked up the street away from the harbor, and I turned my head to look over a little wall, and there's this peacock. I mean, it just scared the crap out of me. I duck, and he jumps over me. But there was, I don't know, 15 of them there.
Yeah.
And the men were showing off, spreading all their feathers and strutting around, and that was we weren't the only ones. Yeah, totally. There's 15 people there, just videotaping and taking pictures and watching the peacocks show off. So we heard them for 3 days. So we decided to go find them that day. Back to our story. So the ferries weren't rolling, and we don't know when they were going to start again. So we walked over to the bus station, and we could take a bus down to Warbich and then back up the peninsula to here and da-da-da-da. Okay, well, buses aren't going down there this time of year.
Mm.
So, and I guess the bus driver kind of overheard our plight. He was, waiting he ended up being, I don't know if he was the driver or the guide, but a lot of the times in Europe you have one guy driving and one guy gets your tickets, and so there's two people on the buses. So he said, "Oh yeah, we'll drive you to this ferry. You take the ferry across to here, the bus from there across the other side of the island, get on the next ferry, and that ferry will take you to Korčula." And I'm just like, that's 4 connections we have to hit. So he was just so reassuring. You can do it. So we're okay. So he drops us, and we're looking at the ferry, and okay, where do we get the tickets? And we turn around the ferry office. It's like we're right behind it. So we get our tickets, walk over to the ferry, and because this ferry was running on the inside of the island, they weren't worried about the winds. It wasn't, the waves were hitting the
open sea
side, not the inside. So this ferry took us over, and we get off, and there's just this little town, and I'm like, okay, where's the bus station? And some lady sticks her head out of the van, and she said, Orbeck, or whatever, Orbeck, waving, and we said, yeah. So we walk over, and we get into this van just as it starts to rain. And then they got 5 minutes later, a bus driver shows up and drives us across the island. We get to another ferry office, and the ferry office is closed. So, and it said a sign, go up the street to get your tickets. And I thought, oh, we'll just get our tickets. It was starting to rain.
It was pouring down rain. It was a torrential downpour, as I recall.
Oh, I thought that didn't happen until we got to the ferry almost. So, okay. Anyway, so it's raining. We decide not to mess with that. We're going to run to the ferry and get our tickets on the ferry. And so, we get inside under the cover, and asked, the guy, he's in this full-on rain gear, can we get our tickets on board? He's like, no. But the ticket office was closed, and he pointed to this line of about 8 cars. They all got tickets. It's open. You just got to go up. So I just dropped my bag, and I just started running. And so I ran back. It's probably 100 yards, and then started walking down. And finally, I see some lady sitting behind this glass window, and bought the tickets and ran back. So we had our tickets. I was wet, but who cares? We got everything up, and they took us to Croatia. And
yeah, it was really raining. I'm surprised you don't remember that part of it. Cause
I remember it raining when I was running. I don't remember going out to the ferry. So anyway,
it was like a 10-minute ferry ride. It was super fast
Yeah.
and pretty calm.
Yeah, and then we called our host once we arrived. We got in our rain gear while we were on the ferry. So when we had to cross the parking lot to the little
We went to a
cafe,
cafe, got a beer, and called our host, and
Yeah.
they picked us up. And
yeah.
so Croatia, again, go in the on-season if you want to go to the potentially possible birthplace of Marco Polo,
Yes.
they say.
Yeah.
It was cute.
It was a very cute town. Again, had the castle kind of out on a little peninsula, small, but so we were able to walk the entire thing in an afternoon, and we couldn't get a scooter,
Yeah.
couldn't rent a car, couldn't do anything to get to any other parts of the island. So we were there for a couple of days. We saw the Easter procession, so that was
fun.
That was fun. But,
We just left early because there wasn't enough to do because it
Yeah.
was the off-season.
yeah, we left a day early, and
They had a little history museum there that was kind of cute, and
Yeah.
the lady was pretty low-key, let us march around the top floor, which wasn't really a public area. I didn't get the impression it was a public area.
no, there was a lot of artifacts, but they weren't really museum.
Displayed.
Yeah, they weren't displayed. It was just like, yeah, go ahead and check it out. And so
So the question then, okay, we talked about 2 different places,
Yeah.
3. We talked about Split, Bratch, and Korčula. Would you
Yeah.
go back to any one of those 3?
I don't know that I would spend any more time in Split. I would like to go back to Croatia and spend some time on the islands in the summer.
Okay.
I would not go back in the off season. I mean, I felt, Croatia, it's like, really, I can't get a scooter just to drive around the island. So we were kind of stuck in the town, which was okay for a couple of days. But, we were, I don't know if we had 3 or 4 days there. We left early because it's just not enough to do.
Yeah.
Go to the islands in the summer.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Split. I would definitely want to go back there, and I would recommend it.
Okay, good.
I thought it was quite
I know
nice.
your sister loved it.
My sister really loved it, yeah.
And I guess I did like it. There was definitely the palace was very cool. Some of the walled areas. I mean, the market was right next to this, 60-foot wall of the palace and stuff. So yeah, there was good things to see. But
Mexican food, can't beat that.
right.
All
Yeah.
right, well, this is good.
Yeah. Dubrovnik next time. Cause
Yeah.
We I don't remember how we got to Dubrovnik.
We'll look it up.
Bus. We actually got on the bus.
Okay, we got to talk about this next time.
On the
'cause we're
island.
running-
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right.
All right.
Dubrovnik next time. Thanks,
Yeah.
Brad.
Thanks, Al.